Terry in the backfield. He gets the handoff. Tries the left side to the 5. To the end zone for the touchdown.
Allen, he's going to run it. Can he get it there? He can.
Second down and 13. Allen going deep, and he's got him. Touchdown.
What is going on? What is going on? Welcome back for another segment of the Bills Yak Podcast. I'm your host, JT. I got my co-host in the building with me, James Mallory, the NFL Pettigrews like to call him. James, what's going on?
What's going on? What's going on? Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it, man. We got a good segment for y'all, man. So let's get after it, JT.
Now, I don't know if you guys recall us doing a segment earlier this year, one of our first segments when we started this podcast called The Diggs Effect. And what we thought Stefon Diggs would bring to this Bills offense, what he would do with this Bills offense, and how the Bills offense improved. Now, I think that we can all agree that the offense is much improved. It has had a huge effect on Josh Allen as I think he's like 6th or 7th in passing yards in the league, maybe higher than that. He's had a couple 300 yards games. He had one 400-yard game, and he was MVP candidate. I'm not going to take him completely out the race for the first quarter of the season, we'll call it. Diggs has had a major effect. Today we got to break down the effect from his effect on Beasley to John Brown to on the running game that seems to maybe be taking shape now, and most importantly, Josh Allen and how Brian Daboll has used him. So with much ado, James, the Diggs effect. What have you thought that Stefon Diggs has brought to his offense? At least what's the most important thing that he has brought to his offense so far this season, we'll say?
I think what he's brought is consistency. Somebody that we can rely on consistently. Not that John Brown and Cole Beasley wasn't that last year, but they're not that it factor. You know, I mean, they can be a second or third it factor, if you allow me to say that. But I mean, he brings that attitude. He brings that swag that really nobody really has his personality like that in that wide receiver room. They're more laid back kind of, let's work hard, guys, and get after it. Diggs is going to do that, but plus he's going to bring that extra style, that extra swag, that attitude to the field. And he's just so reliable, man, that you can just see how important it is to have a number one receiver. And, oh, my God, he was so worth a first-round pick. It's not even funny.
Right. I mean, I've actually heard some clamoring on a social media a little bit because they compared Justin Jefferson's numbers to Diggs. And don't get me wrong, Diggs, I think, is third receiving yards in the NFL currently. And, yeah, I get it. Justin Jefferson's put up these numbers, but that team is also losing. They're absolutely awful. And I'm not worried about what Justin Jefferson is doing. I'm worried about what Stefon Diggs has brought to Buffalo, and what he has brought to Buffalo to piggyback off of you is a true number one receiver, and it has opened up a lot for Beasley. Obviously hasn't opened up a lot for Brown yet because obviously Brown's been battling injuries for the better part of the season. But even when Brown was healthy in those first couple of weeks, it opened up for him as well. Yep. And, I thought it would open up for Dawson Knox a little bit more. Obviously, Dawson Knox, again, has been battling injury as much of the NFL as a whole hasn't battled injuries through this pandemic-riddled offseason.
But not to cut you off, JT, he's back this week. I think Dawson Knox could be a sleeper, but that's another story. I think he's going to benefit from Diggs this week.
No, definitely. He really could be. Like I said, I'm not writing him off quite yet as far as being and making a huge impact on this offense. I kind of figured the tight end position would get a little lost in his offense, and I think you would anticipate that too as well with those many receivers and those many good receivers, because we even seen Gabe Davis eat this year, and being able to see all those guys eat, I think a lot of those are eating off the plate provided by Stefon Diggs. Now, I don't want to give him all the credit, but you have to count for him at all times.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't, he'll kill you. As you see, he torched Miami. When they didn't account for him the right way. And then now everybody's talking about Miami has this great defense. But let's not forget, Stefon Diggs had a day on them. So, I mean, the effect of Stefon Diggs, and even, as we go on through the season, people tend to forget. I don't know why everybody's acting like this is week 13, 14. Really, 8 games into the season. We're going into week 9. So, I mean, once everybody really get to know each other, let's not forget, no OTAs. No minicamp. and the training camp was very different. So once everybody gets flowing, the running game gets going, and they get the feed off Stefon Diggs, I think we'll be just fine. But this Stefon Diggs effect, I'm loving it, man. He is a baller. He is a baller. He's not afraid to make the tough catches and take the big hit either. I like it. No prima donna there.
What has he done for Brian Daboll? Because obviously we can kind of call and kind of say that Brian Daboll was an embattled offensive coordinator last season here. A lot of people was calling for his head. A lot of people were I'm one of the few people that too had him on a short leash going to this season, in my opinion. What has he done for his play caller? How has he opened him up, and how has he made him better as a play caller?
When you know you have a guy that's going to win, he's just going to flat out beat this guy. You don't have to really design things, trickery and things like that to help him get open, where you can literally just call a play and you know he's going to win. That changes everything. Now, if you have a guy where it's like, I'm not sure if this guy can win, or in this situation, it changes your mindset as a play caller. So when you know you got a guy who's going to win, who's going to make that big catch and you can rely on, that changes everything. He can call plays a lot more confident and just be himself. So I like what Daboll's doing.
Do you think we're seeing the real Brian Daboll? Because obviously we're through 8 games now, and we're 6-2. The offense has looked tremendously better than it has last year. I think we're actually ranked number 4 offense in the NFL at this current moment. Is this the true Brian Daboll, or should we chalk this up to Stefon Diggs, maybe the development of Josh Allen? And I guess the piggyback off that question being to make a second part of the question is how much has Stefon Diggs speeded up Josh Allen's maturation process?
First question. What we're seeing on the day, but I think it's a little bit all of it. Obviously, Josh, his development has helped him as a play caller where, he makes the right reads, the right throws. Stefon Diggs has helped out, obviously, with him just being a baller. He's a flat-out baller. He's one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. Anybody that says he's not need to be drug tested immediately. Not marijuana, hard drugs. They need to be tested immediately. That, and then Daboll, I think he's a brilliant mind. I think he does have a really good football mind. I love when everybody was saying Duke Williams should make the team over Isaiah McKenzie. I thought they were crazy because there's so many different things you can do with McKenzie. And I think, him, the way he used McKenzie is just, doing a lot of creative things. And I love it. So that's that I think that's a little bit of – so that's to answer your question. I think it's a sprinkle, a little bit of everything. I think Daboll's going to be gone after this year. Somebody's going to give him a shot to be a head coach. And I think Ken Dorsey's going to be our offensive coordinator next year. That's another story for another day. But, what was the second question? I'm sorry. I got a little –
The second part was,
got a little excited.
How the second part was how much has he speeded up the maturation process of Josh Allen going to the season? Stefon Diggs, that is.
Stefon Diggs, oh, my goodness. That's a lot of young quarterbacks have that safety blanket, which would be the tight end. Now Stefon Diggs is that for Josh, where he can rely on him to make the big play on third down. Where if the throw might be a little off, but he's going to get it. He's going to the contested throws. He's going to win those 50-50 balls for us. So I think he's helped Josh Allen's confidence, and I think that obviously has helped him overall as a quarterback.
It seems to me that, they feed off each other a lot as well. You see them going at each other in the games, not in a negative way, but hyping each other up, getting each other ready. It seems like they've been like that since the offseason. You see them together before pre-games, doing their little handshakes, the dances. You see them trying to get each other going during the game. We talked about in earlier segments about the competitiveness of Josh Allen and how he's not your normal quarterback with his competitiveness, if we want to say that. And Stefon Diggs is an ultra competitor too. And actually on the podcast with Alexander, he called them both alpha males.
Yep, absolutely. That's accurate.
And how important is to have a quarterback and a receiver that are both alpha males dominating together?
See, it could be a good or a bad thing. It depends on the two people. These two, obviously, they want to coexist. They're fine with giving the other alpha his room to do his thing. Some alphas want to be the only alpha in the room or only alpha on offense. And those two, they put the ego aside and they just want to win. So I think it's very important to have guys that's on the same page. Excuse me. So if those guys are on the same page, it'll work. Now, if they weren't on the same page, then we have a problem. So, I think it's very important. I don't want too many passive guys on my team.
Right.
No, not too many betas on my team.
Right. I mean, I thought that Buffalo had way too many betas for the last couple of years. And I think now, you're adding Stefon Diggs as alpha. Josh Allen is definitely an alpha. And I think, people like John Feliciano, obviously adding Josh Norman, I won't get too far off topic here. They added alphas on both sides of the ball. And I think that's definitely has helped. But, my thing on Stefon Diggs is I know we questioned before the season where does Stefon Diggs rank in the top tier of receivers in the NFL? And I would say before the season began, the day that the Bills made a trade for Diggs, I think most people would say top 10, maybe some fringe top 10. Maybe, and that high is maybe top 7. But I think coming to Buffalo, being in number 1 without Thielen, without Kyle Rudolph, without Kirk Cousins, who don't look too good without him now.
Oh, my goodness.
I think we can definitively say he's definitely top 5. There's nothing he can do. He can go deep. He can go short. He can go middle. He can get yak. He can turn short plays into big plays. He can make contested catches, you say. He can beat double teams. He can beat brackets. I don't think there's anything on a football field that Stefon Diggs cannot do. And I honestly would argue, could he be the most complete receiver in the NFL?
Yeah, that's an argument to be had. I mean, with me, how I judge the best wide receiver in the league, JT, is different than some other people, man. When I look at it catching, route running ability, making contested catches over the middle, being able to block. How effective are you when the ball is not coming to you and not in your hands? Are you still effective? Are you still a very important piece of the offense when the ball is not in your hands? Are you helping the offense when the ball is not in your hands? Stefon Diggs, absolutely. He's still effective when the ball is not in his hands. So that makes him, as some guys who are very good receivers, they're great when the ball's coming their way. But then when the ball's not coming their way, it's just blah. They may not block them that much. Or if it's not coming to them, they run in the route office. They're not running it the way they're supposed to. It's a lot of factors that the regular fan don't look at. They look at, this person makes spectacular catches and he scored touchdowns. Yeah, that's important, but this guy don't block. Or this guy's not willing to make the catch over the middle. Those other factors are very, very important. People just some people, not all, some people just tend to overlook. And I look at that when I'm looking at the top wide receivers. How about you, JT? What you feel about it?
I'm not going to call him the most complete. I'm going to say he's in the top 3, top 4 of most complete receivers in the league because Julio Jones is still in his league and he still produces at a very high level. And we've seen Julio damn near kill some people on blocks and on interceptions. So
that is true.
I think Julio is still top dog in this league. I think he's just stuck in the purgatory of what is Atlanta at this point in time. But, when you look at these numbers with Diggs, okay, I was on record for saying that I didn't know how many targets he would get this season. And the reason I was kind of worried because obviously I thought defenses would bracket him, thought they may have trouble getting the ball. But, so far through 8 games, he has 79 targets. He's on pace for about 160, between 150, 160 targets on the season, which his highest targeted season was 2018 in Minnesota, 149. He's on pace for about 1,386 yards. Okay, if he gets that, he will break the Bills' Eric Moe's Bills' single season record for yards in a season. He's on pace for 108 receptions. I don't know what the Bills' record is for receptions in the season. I'll have to look that one up. I'm pretty sure it's probably close, probably Andre Reed. And actually, I think I remember a season that the fullback Larry Centers, that's the name from the past, had like 90.
Yeah, oh my goodness. He averaged 80, 90 catches.
Right. So I think there was a season that we were horrible and we just checked the ball down all season. I think he had like 80 or 90 catches. So I'm going to have to check and see who's the leading reception leader in the history of the Bills. But he's on pace to beat Eric Moe's record. And he's on pace to have about 6 touchdowns, which you would like to see those touchdown numbers a little bit higher. But obviously, when we get inside the 10-yard line, a lot of times that's Josh Allen time.
Yep.
So the touchdown's not going to be there. But, I mean, even at that, he's averaging 86.9 yards a game. His catch percentage is amazing, 68.4, which has been very consistent with his career because his career number is 68.4 catch percentage. And people don't look at that specific stat a lot, the catch percentage, because you see these numbers, you see a guy have 1,300 yards, he got 100 receptions, but then again, he was targeted like 200 times and his catch percentage is like 50%. People don't look at that stat enough. I mean, this may very well be the greatest receiving season in the history of the Buffalo Bills. And we have had some good receivers in history here in Buffalo.
Absolutely. You know, one person people tend to forget about who has a couple great seasons here with a lot of catches, Peerless Price.
Yeah. You know what? That's one guy I don't forget about. I talk about Peerless all the time.
Yep.
You know, I thought Peerless could have had a great career here in Buffalo. And it's funny because when you think about Stefon Diggs in the Bills uniform, I'm happy that you mentioned Peerless Price because this is who Stefon Diggs reminds me a lot of in a Bills uniform. It's Peerless Price.
Yeah. I think he's more willing to go over the middle. He'll take a lot more hits than Peerless, but they do have some similarities. I totally agree with you, JT. You on to something there. You talking that talk right now, JT.
Well, yeah. I mean, like think about it. Peerless Price had the 80-catch, 1,200-yard year when he got snubbed from the Pro Bowl. And I think we end up trading him to Atlanta because Tom Donahoe wanted to be cheap. And this is something I've actually talked to Peerless about personally.
And we got a first-round pick for him, too.
Yeah, I think we turned it into it was either McGahee or it was either – I don't know if it was McGahee or Eric Flowers. I can't remember. I want to say it may have been Willis McGahee we turned that 23rd pick in.
You really want to turn my day bad by mentioning Eric Flowers? Really?
I don't want to turn your day bad. I'm just trying to remember who he got the pick for. I think it may have been him. I'm not sure. I have to go back and research that. And it was either McGahee or Flowers. But yeah, man. I mean, Stefon Diggs is as I can't even say he's as good as advertised. To me, at this part, from what I'm seeing, he's better. He's better than advertised. He's a lot better than advertised.
It looks like a steal for us right now. We got him for a first-round pick, and honestly, let's be real. If we got him for a first-round pick, and he came here and had, let's just say, 800 to 1,000 yards this year, he's gonna crush that. Obviously, he's almost there now. Let's say he would have came and had 800 to 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns this year and next year, I don't think nobody would have really been mad. I mean, obviously, he would have opened up things for other people. They would have talked a little stuff, but it wouldn't have been like a bust. But now he's blown the doors off of that. So we got a steal in that trade. Absolute steal.
No, I think we did. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking Minnesota. I'm not going to say Minnesota lost his trade because Justin Jefferson is looking just as good. Not as good as Stefon Diggs, but he's not far behind him in yardage. I think he's in top 7 of yardage as a rookie. But obviously you don't want to lose a player to caliber of Stefon Diggs, but if you do, to replace him immediately is great for Minnesota. But it was even better for Buffalo because, I mean, he brought a lot more intangibles to Buffalo than a rookie could have brought.
Yep. We weren't looking for that. I mean, when I look at the trade, I mean, it's too early to call it, JT. Justin Jefferson is a beast. But when you play him from behind and you lose it, it's a lot more opportunity there too. And the defenses play a lot different when they up by 20, instead of, it being a tight game. So not saying he's not good. Please, some people are, I'm not saying he's not good. He's a good football player. But it's a lot different when you're playing from behind. And also, when I look at how we won it, which a lot of people keep saying, Gabe Davis would have been a first-round pick if he wouldn't have came out early. So we kind of got a first-round pick with Gabe Davis because if he came out as a junior, he came out this year, he would have been a first-round pick. So I think we won that trade all the way around.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up because we were talking about Peerless Price, and when you think about Peerless Price, you have to think about Eric Moulds as well. And obviously, Brown, Beasley, and Diggs are all, Diggs coming. He's still part of the Smurfs, if you want to call it. He's still smaller receiver, bigger than Brown and Beasley, but he's still smaller, on the smaller side, we should say. If Gabe Davis develops, you have that bigger receiver like Eric Moulds on the opposite side.
Yeah.
Meaning you're going to have to put bigger cornerbacks or bigger backs on him a lot, because assuming that his development is going to continue, and I feel it well, that's going to make Stefon Diggs that more dangerous going forward. Because like I said, we haven't really had John Brown. We haven't had the utilization of John Brown for the better part of the first half of the season with him being injured. And Cole Beasley is just getting healthy again. And we see Cole Beasley reaping all the benefits from the Diggs effect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that Diggs effect, man, once again, man, it's opened up a lot of different things. We're seeing a lot of different things. It's a very bright future. I'm happy we got him. He's made our offense so much better, man, and we're fortunate to have him, man. And, hey, let's keep this thing going. He's still under contract for 4 more seasons, I believe.
Yeah, 3 or 4. I mean, he's locked in, baby. He's in. Bean got him. Now, and that's another part of the deal you have to look at is we didn't get a 1-year rental. We didn't get somebody we had to give big money to immediately. We got a true number 1 receiver for number 2 receiver money, because that's what his contract is. And the $14 million is number 2 receiver money. Okay.
Yeah.
Per year, and we got him signed for the next 3 years. That's definitely a steal. So, looking back 8 games through, what are you giving the Diggs effect? Give me a grade. What you got?
I'm gonna give it an A- right now.
Okay.
There were some things I think there's still some room for improvement and things we can capitalize off more in regards to the Diggs effect. So I'll give it an A-. I'm comfortable giving it an A-.
All right. I'm gonna give it just a straight A. I agree with you. There are some things to improve on, but I don't think we're gonna see those improvements until we see a healthy John Brown and then a healthy Dawson Knox in the field. And, I mean, obviously the first couple of games we saw that. I mean, God, Josh Allen broke all his own record career highs.
Yeah, literally.
Within a matter of those 2 games, 2 to 3 games. But I'm going to wait to see what Dawson Knox does and what John Brown does because, like I said, they're all a part of the Diggs effect. And then I also want to see, as those guys come back, how the defenses play us and what the effect of the Diggs has on our running game as well. Because at some point, Diggs effect can have a negative effect on the running game because then Brian Daboll wants to come out there and throw the ball 40 times around the yard. Yep. So
I think we just got to stick with that running game. But last week was an encouraging sign. So
it really was. It really was. So hopefully we can keep that going. But yeah, I'm gonna give it an A. You give it an A-. We got 8 more games to go. Hopefully we get everybody back healthy. Everybody's starting to get ready to go. Then we can move into these playoffs. And I'm already clinching our spot. I'm clinching our spot already in week 8. We can go and clinch our spot in these playoffs and have everything full go. And, I mean, God knows. I mean, we get a bye week or anything like that when the AFC East, we have to say the Diggs effect is a success with year 1.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. Let's keep this thing rolling, Buffalo. Stefon Diggs, we glad to have you, buddy.
That's it. Hey, man, that's another segment of the Bills Yak podcast. Guys, make sure that you're checking us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Cold Front Report. We got a brand new webpage launcher, so the podcast is going to be on there that you can find this week. Make sure you're checking out Discover 716. Make sure you're checking out Cold Socks for the new Buffalo by Nature t-shirt. Can't wait to get one of them bad boys. You see the Snowman, Deion Dog, and Jerry Hughes rocking them. And, yeah, guys. This is the Bills Yak podcast presented by Cold Front Report, powered by Avalon Media Group. Catch you later.
We out.
The Buffalo Bills win. By Singletary, and it's caught for a touchdown. Cole Beasley. Here they come. Down he goes. Corkscrewed in by the rookie Ed Oliver. Singletary in the backfield. He gets the handoff. Tries the left side to the 5. To the end zone for the touchdown.
Allen, he's going to run it. Can he get in there? He can!
Something down in 13. Allen going deep, and he's got him. Touchdown! John Brown, what a catch!
And he tosses that one up towards the press box.
Shut